Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Backstage Pass. I am your host, Vince Edwards. You may know me from Sound Image Productions. I also have a couple closed roadie groups on Facebook, one called Death by Loadout, kind of for the tourists in our world, and the Backstage Pass, that's for the hardcore fucking rock and roll roadies in the game. Come by, we're having some fun. This evening, I have my pure fucking good honor and luck to be able to say I am with the one and only good friend, brother of mine, co-host, Cal Thomas. How you doing, brother?
Great, man.
Yeah. So I had forgot the show in the office, and you were nice enough to go run and get it. Thank you. Thank you so much. How you doing, buddy?
Great, man. I'd just like to tell the audience, please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Facebook, same thing. Very grateful to have this show running as long as we have, and we've been working really hard to keep it going, so.
You know, that's a good point. I wasn't thinking along those lines, but goddamn, I don't know what the actual show count is. Mikey could tell us. I know we ditched out the first 6 because I thought they were beneath us. And these were with, the first one we did was Bob Scoville. That can't be wrong. That's got to be right. And with Greg Price, and, we had nothing but heavy hitters. And so we got to re-interview those guys. And so we have 10, I want to say 90 or so shows. I think available is probably 85, 84, 85. This might be 85 or 6 right now. And it's taken a long time to do it. There's money involved. There's certainly time and all kinds of preparation. So, and we do it because we love this and we love what we do. And so, thank you for being here with me for the majority of that, making it happen. It's been a labor of love for sure. And I couldn't have done it without you or Mikey Brown, who's the octopus behind the, doing all the controls, the switching.
That's right.
The audio,
you bring him up, by the way. Got to give a shout out. Tomorrow is Mike Brown's birthday. So happy birthday, Mike.
Mikey is turning 34 tomorrow.
God.
So we made sure to get all of his special libations and the things that make Mikey happy, and I hope you're good. You good, Mike? I'm good. Mikey's fucking good. He said so.
He's good. He's
and
good.
We love him. And seriously, I mean, I do a lot of shit to make this happen. You do a lot of shit, but he drives the show.
Yeah, he does such a good job, too.
Yeah, and without him, we got nothing. So I appreciate you more than you could possibly know, Michael Brown, and you're a consummate professional and a dear, dear friend. Happy birthday, brother.
I second that, brother.
Yeah.
So also Eric Rogers last week.
Fuck, dude.
What a fucking gentleman, and what some stories that was. Jesus.
He's just a kind, handsome Eric is just a kind, killer guy. Yeah, I was with my buddy this weekend, and she had a friend visiting from Vegas, and they watched the show together at my chick's shop. And
nice.
So I get with them, and we're doing this get-together thing, barbecue in this really cool-ass backyard in Monterey Bay, looking out across the bay, and it's fucking one of those winter sunrises, so it's beautiful, right? We're eating this great food, and the girl, her name is Christy, she says, man, that guy was really cute last week. Yeah, we call him Handsome Eric. Yeah, he's kind of a badass, but he was super cool, right? She's like, yeah, but he was really cute, those eyes, and yeah, it was so silly, and my chick's trying not to agree, but you can't deny Eric's greatness. and he's just a pleasant guy. He's really entertaining and fun and smart and professional, the way he thinks, the way he operates. It was nice to get to spend some time after the show and talk about some stuff that's maybe not show friendly for, I don't know, a better part of a little less than an hour. So we spent a couple hours with him. It was nice. It was really good.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Couldn't have enjoyed that show more.
I also want to thank one of our sponsors, Diablo Digital. That's Brad Maddox and Greg Price.
Yeah.
They run they ship out most of the recording rigs for most of the large bands and around the country. I feel like around the world most of the time.
It's definitely, that last one that we just pulled back in was with U2 for 2 years. I mean, when the shit's good and it just keeps going, and these guys are traveling all over hell and back, or the same with the Rolling Stones had one for, I think, 18 months recently.
And they've been nice enough to donate, some gear to us, like the S3L over there Mikey's running right now.
Yep.
Very nice gentlemen. I just wanted to thank them.
That's very sweet. I consider, I don't even know how to explain my relationship with them. It's, I don't know, it's Greg particularly is like my dad in some weird ways. Nobody can replace my dad. My dad's alive and a wonderful, amazing man. But in the audio game, Greg Price is he's just a legend. And we're lucky enough to have him right here in the building. I mean, not this minute. He's out with Metallica, and I think Brad's off getting ready for a tour with Flo and the Machines. a world tour. So, when they're busy, we try to help out and push these rigs out for them, receive stuff for them. And they're dear brothers. And they sponsor this show. And every show we're trying to point out one of our sponsors. And they're just one of our dearest friends and greatest supporters. So, yeah, couldn't say enough about them. You guys need the most incredible, impeccable, perfect recording apparatus to do your thing. Reach out to Diablo Digital, Greg Price, Brad Maddox. They got you back. And it doesn't get better. As far as I know, there isn't a better technology that they've created and they've mastered and they've built that is you can put into the professional live touring world and get a better result. I just don't think there is.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have those guys in our orbit.
Speaking of today, man, I think we got some shit in the mail that has been taking a very, very long time, but they finally showed up. And they complement these nice speakers behind us. We got a lovely pair of autos to go with these on you.
It's more than a pair. Pair denotes 2 of each, right?
Well, I don't think we got the full shipment in, so
yeah,
we'll say we have 6
today, and they're easily the most complicated and complex sub in the business. They're not, as we discovered, they're not always immediately friendly. And it takes some in-depth tweaking to get them where they need to be. But man,
that's
the
a nice way to put that. That's a really nice way to put that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be fair, and this is a sentiment that goes across the industry. Anybody who's worked with the adaptive system, it's not for everybody, but what it can do is very special. And when you're driving it right, and you got the right people behind it, know how to talk to it, it can do amazing things for mitigation. And when you got issues, tough rims, you got balconies, you got fucking weird spaces, you can really get it to do what it needs to do and what you need it to do for coverage and noise mitigation, which is singular, I believe, in that system. And we have it because we have some challenging jobs that we need to mitigate sound properly, but at the same time give the top-notch, high-quality, sound and live experience. But there's restrictions that we have to be mindful of. So it's a really unique system.
Great for mitigation.
Great for mitigation. And, when it sounds great, I've rarely heard something sound better. And we just did a big show with it recently. And the reports that came back from that were everybody was thrilled. As a audio experience, I guess it was pretty amazing. And we've had these results over and over.
Well, we'll see. We got EAW's 2001s, and I think those are just rock solid piece of sub equipment right there.
Yeah.
We just deployed them out for a little demo. That was a couple Anyas and a end-fire cardioid setup with
You got that
boxes.
couple number stuck in your head.
Just a couple, 6 is not that many. It's not a fucking
It's
show
more
to
than
me.
a couple. It's even more than a few. You're not wrong. But yeah, no, that was a little demo to show the technology and show how we could control it and still give an extraordinary, audio experience, live audio experience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, dealing with the unique challenges of that particular job,
Absolutely.
which is an outdoor event that needs to be dealt with properly, and certain unique things that only, as far as I can tell, this system would really allow us to even approach the challenges and tackle them in a successful way. So yeah, I'm stoked. Very expensive system, and it's expensive not just on the top end, but it's also expensive to get the training on it and get everybody up to speed with them. So it's an investment Sound Image does for our customers because we want our customers happy. We want to provide the best experience and that's something that my Dave Shadun and my brother George Edwards demand. So we bring the technology to get it done and make it happen. And that was one of the shipments that we received today. It's nice. It's always nice to kick open the boxes, rip shit open.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's fun. Like Christmas when we open it up.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully we can step away from the plug and play value of it and maybe just learn a bit of our own chops on it to make it sound a little bit more how we want to.
Yeah. I think you had an experience with it today that you mentioned to me, and I think it's not unreasonable for some of the slightly more average. That's the wrong word. Some of the systems that we employ here that are pretty much, that's the standard in our business.
Yeah.
We got some great systems. We can pretty much get anything we want. And yeah, but this is a singular thing, and so it's not going to plug right in and just be like, oh, well, here we go.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work like that.
Totally.
You're going to spend some time getting it up, getting your crossover point. You do all the little tricks that you need to do, dropping your whatever to make it be what it should be, and then it will be that. So you just hold on tight.
Otto.
We got good stuff coming, man. You're going to love it.
Also, we have SXL training going on tomorrow. Still fumbling through that with the videos online. But we're also trying to, now that we have this 24-channel desk, trying to set up a little area where we can utilize the space a little bit more and do some weekly training on it. So we'll be trucking away. Yeah,
I think that's real cool. The boss let us have some space. We took up one of the rooms because, ongoing training benefits everybody. You get the younger guys behind these new desks, and they can do so many things. Every time when you update these things, there's so many. I mean, talk about the onion that doesn't have an end. You just keep peeling it, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. So it requires constant upgrading of skills and challenges in the teaching department. We got these young, impressionable minds that are super excited to do stuff, and we're happy to bring them in. We get them the skills they got, we can employ them, and we can put them out in the field in a way that we can be comfortable with and know that they can do the work. And usually that's a front end thing where you got to put in the training, you got to spend a little money to invest in people, and we're happy to do that. We're absolutely happy to do that. It makes me think that maybe, I know we're going to do this in tandem with Bob, with Robert Scoville, and I think I will reach out to him tomorrow just to blow in his ear and see if he's got any asides or anything he thinks we should add to the program that me and you've already kind of discussed and how we're going to go forward with that.
Oh yeah, it'd be really nice. Get his input on it.
It's Robert Scoville, he's a dear
friend.
We'd
be blessed to hear anything from him, right?
Yeah, don't tell him I called him Robert though. I don't want him to know that.
And he's actually said his name correct twice on this show. Twice in the whole airing of it.
He won't say this. It's okay. We call him Bob just because it pisses him off. We love it. Makes me very happy.
I don't say that.
I know you don't. You wouldn't go well for you.
Valid.
But it's okay. He's a dear friend, and one of the best. I mean, really, he's fucking Robert Scoville. I mean, Jesus Christ, Rush, Def Leppard. He does all those big award shows, the MTV shit, the Latin Grammys. It just, you pull Robert Scoville out and put him in front of something, it's because you need one of the best to do an amazing job, and he always shows up and does great with that. Plus, let's not forget he's got the Back Lounge, which is a kick in the pants to go to on Fridays at 4:20. Right now, it's airing during Mountain Time, so that in Pacific Time that would be 3:20. And, it's a who's who of it's every engineer. It's 20, 30 people that all join in, and we just kind of do a free-for-all, kind of grind on each other and have a little laugh and, kind of talk about current issues. And it's super fun. That happens every week. So if you guys reach out to Bob, if you know who I'm talking about, Robert Scoville, and get in on this. It's a super, super exciting and fun place to be.
Couldn't recommend it more, man.
No, it really, and he controls it in a way, when you have that many people, and these are all alpha males and females that are at the top of their game. So, we're all competing to show who's the smartest and all that. And it's kind of a thing, and Bob has a way to get us all in line and make it happen in a way that's, viewable and digestible. So it's not just a bunch of people talking over each other, which of course is no fun. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good environment. It's super fun. Highly recommend it.
Definitely, man.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're going to be in there tomorrow, hopefully, right?
Well, I'd like that very much, time permitting, because it's in the middle of the workday, and with this mountain thing, sometimes it's not available to us because we're busy,
right.
And so that part is a little unfortunate, but it's his show. So when we can make it, we make it, and we mix it up a little bit. And I think he's always knows that we're going to bring a little extra flavor to it. So
I think so. I think he's prepared for it.
So I think he enjoys it when we come on and have a little fun with him.
Awesome.
I know I do.
I love joining him, dude.
Yeah, he's a good man.
There's always so many fun stories and random people just going off about something, whatever the current daily thing is.
Yeah.
The whole thing about his show is don't talk about the audio,
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the most part, we don't really get into the one. He's got other shows. He's got the lab for that. He does other things. You got Dave Morgan and all these badasses on, and, it's kind of redundant to go, well, when I was on James Taylor or this or that or whatever your immediate experience is, it's kind of, we're past that. We get it. We know you're a fucking legend. You're Dave Morgan, or as one example. Last week, we had a lot of fun with Dave on the show, and Dave's seriously, he's 50 plus years in the business, still one of the top guys, easily. He's going to be on the show in a couple weeks, and Just a delightful, amazing human being. You know, he worked with some of the biggest bands in rock and roll. And if you're talking, you wouldn't even know it. Dave doesn't play that shit. You know, he's just one of us, and he's got a great little, you know, his little sense of humor, his sense of things is fun. So, you know, it's great to get a different perspective from some of these old legends and the guys that are just still out there fucking putting on the biggest shows in rock and roll and, you know, making it sound perfect, pristine. I mean, Dave Morgan's mix, when you're mixing James Taylor, for example, or Jackson Browne, it's just a couple that he's done in his long, extraordinary career. That's required.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
James Taylor, man.
You have to.
You know, it's $1 million production. It's all the best of everything. He's not up there trying to bury the needle and put his foot in the gas and tear people's face off. He's bringing it clean and perfect, and it's exactly at the right amplitude. Everything is just perfect for it. I mean, that's a special skill to hit that sweet spot like that. And I don't know a guy, let alone of Dave's age, that still has ears like that. And that's always the remarkable part to me about Dave Morgan is the man's in his 70s, and it's just like Greg's 70. These guys still mix like it's extraordinary to me.
Perfect ears.
I know guys that are 45, 50 that are like, huh? We know a guy right now. You know what I'm talking about? Don't say names, but we know a guy.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, he's in his late 50s and struggling with, and that's a relatively normal story.
Yeah.
He's not a weirdo. It's a normal thing. You've been in rock and roll that long. You have a history that, like the person we're thinking about, has done amazing things. But of course, at some point, you know,
20 years of 110 plus.
there's going to be a cost.
Hours,
It's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but some of these guys have been able to protect their hearing, protect their skill, their craft, their tools, because really that's their tools, and still come out of the gate every time and do these amazing things. They're really extraordinary things. They keep up with the most current technology. It's like they just keep evolving and getting better. It's extraordinary. It's really something that's, you know, it's a rare thing in our business, and it's special to see it happening.
Yeah, and I'm trying to take from that, like however many people have just told me, take care of your ears now because you're going to regret it in 20 years. And it's like, I smoke cigarettes. If I have a window down in the car, put an earplug in your left ear, you know?
That's smart. See, we never did that. We were old school, you know, fucking, it was like tinnitus was a fucking, like a badge of honor. You know, you go away from a show and you expect 5 hours of pretty much being deaf and this fucked up 1K just ringing in your head. Yeah. It was like, yeah, that was a good show. Slayer fucking killed it tonight. You know, like, you know, that was normal. That was part of the game. And you just thought, well, this is what we do. You know, our thing was when we were coming up, our mentors were pretty mindful about, like, don't jump off the stages. Don't save the rest of your body, your back, your legs, you know, all this stupid shit. Because in the run and gun days, you know, you just went out there and fought the fight, man. It was, everything was just, rah. You just fucking manhandled shit and just did it, you know, and you just threw it in, put the show on, pulled it out, next, you know, boom, boom, boom.
Well, not to get too into it, I feel like COVID in particular, you see how so many different people changed the way that they were mixing just from the downtime. Mm-hmm. It's like, I know my ears were super sensitive when I first, like, we just got on the road. It's like, okay, I haven't experienced loud amplitude like this for extended periods of time in like a year or two. So everybody just mixed quieter. I feel like we're still coming out of that.
Yeah, that makes good sense.
But
dude, I can't believe it. We've been yammering for a shitload of time here.
Too long.
That went way fast.
Way too fast.
Yeah. Usually I'm just thinking, God, when is this going to be over? I can get to the guest. But
I know, God, I fucking hate staring at you.
Just fucking around. You know I love you, right?
I love you very much.
Like, seriously, I think part of being a roadie is the fun and the give and the take and the push and the pull between us. Because there's so much downtime in what we do. Yeah. Of course, you're going to find a way to just needle your friends and shit. And I'm the king of this. Everybody knows that. And but I don't ever want to lose sight of the fact that I ain't nothing without the crew. I can't do shit without you badasses, guys like you who are extremely talented, you're skilled in your craft, and I appreciate you very much. And like I mentioned earlier, you know, thank you for being here for, I gotta say, 70 shows. I want to guess.
Good bit, man.
Something like that.
A good chunk of shows.
Yeah. So it's seriously a treat to work with you, and I appreciate you very much.
Oh, right back at you, man.
Thank you, pal. I love you too. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna do this thing, okay?
All right, I'm gonna hop on these comments.
All right, man. Tell the people we love them. Say hi to everybody. Honey, I love you. Jackie Canterbury, the best girlfriend in the whole goddamn world. Oh my God, I'm so lucky. All right. Listen, guys, I can't see for shit right now. I want to be able to read this properly. I reached out to our dear friend, a guy that's a new friend to us, but he's just a cool cat. I've been following this guy. You know, we have a large Facebook presence, and I keep track of pretty much all the guys that are worth knowing. This guy is highly accomplished in what he does. He's unique. We've only had one other drum tech in here, highly accomplished drum tech. That was Jeff Diffner from Rick Allen's guy, of course, dear friend to the show. And Jeff's an extraordinary cat, Heart, all these other bands. But probably one of the toughest drum tech jobs in the world, which is for Rick Allen and his special needs. Great guy. Tonight we've got a guy who's equally as competent and has done some amazing shit. I brought him here to share his stories with you. He's fresh from doing an iHeartRadio show, which anybody who's done those shows knows that can be a kick in the ass. We did one with Green Day a while back, and it turned into quite the event, we'll just say. And so he was out with Average Lavigne, excuse me. Avril.
Fucking asshole.
That was a total accident, dude. Avril Lavigne, not Average Lavigne. My bad. He's a highly sought after playback specialist. He's worked for Dave Lombardo. Dave Lombardo, if you don't know, you should know. That's the Slayer guy. That's Suicidal guy. He's just some of the coolest bands on the planet. He's a guy that will not be stopped. One of the best technical drummers on the planet. This gentleman is his drum tech for Dave Lombardo. He's toured with some amazing bands like Lamb of God, Danzig, and one of my favorites, Mr. Bungle. If you don't know, you should know. They ripped. Please help me welcome the one and only Pike Perkinpine. How are you doing, Mike?
Going, man.
Oh, man. One day at a time. That's how we do it around here.
Exactly.
Take it one day at a time. All right, I'm going back into my disguise here.
I feel right at home with this snare drum.
Oh, dude, that is not there for that reason.
No,
we brought it in because we were yammering on it last week.
Yeah.
And just to put it out there, Rick Allen gave me this drum, I don't know, a week or two ago. During a visit I was having with him down by our house. We live near each other down in the Carmel Valley area, and it was nice. I'm going to reject the drum. Tilt that up for me, Mike. Show the camera.
This is a nice drum.
It's a really nice, well-made drum by Tom, but it is a unique snare drum. It is a baby snare drum.
Yeah.
I felt, I will not lie, a little cheated.
Hey, man.
And so I told Mr. Allen, thank you, but bring me a better one.
Right.
And so he's doing that because he's a sweetheart of a man, and we're really lucky to have a close relationship with him. It's really a treat. Thank you so much for coming up from LA and being here tonight with us and coming and sharing your stories. I'd like to ask you right off, I don't think a lot of people would understand, unless you're deep in our game, what a playback specialist does. Can you describe your work for us? On that one level.
On that end of things?
Yes, sir.
In playback? Yeah, wow. To the
elevator speech, bro.
To the layperson.
Yeah.
Okay, so to the layperson, it basically, I feel like it's an addition to the band. So, you have the band playing.
Yeah.
And then you have, say you're a band and you want to go out on the road, but you want to have like a string section in your music.
Right.
Okay, it's not like so many people would say it's cheating, it's this and that. It's just, if you can't afford, which a lot of bands don't,
sure,
can't afford to bring out a 50-piece string section or an orchestra, you just put it in the tracks in your computers and away you go.
Very cool.
I mean, it's not as complicated as a lot of people may think it is.
So do you have to stand by for cues and know all the work?
100%.
Yeah. So you really understand the music and where they're at.
You have to know the songs.
Yeah.
You have to know the composition of the song, the arrangement.
Sure.
If you don't, it could be a little more, jarring.
Yeah.
So to speak.
I can imagine there can be moments if things don't go exactly right.
Right.
Where it could be a little tricky.
Of course, that could happen as well.
Yeah.
But.
Life and under the big time.
Hopefully it doesn't.
Yes. Right. Well, that's why they call you, because you're really good at what you do.
You make sure that it's solid.
Right.
And the gear you're using is solid.
Of course. These are very important considerations to getting the job done successfully. And again, I know that's why a lot of folks reach out to you, because you do that. I mentioned Dave Lombardo. Now, we were talking about how we made your ad, and your ad basically said, badass drum tech, worked for Dave Lombardo under these projects. And that's because Mikey is a drummer, our birthday boy, and an extraordinary drummer, and he really loves that you work for Dave Lombardo and have that relationship, because Dave Lombardo is a fucking machine. What is it like doing the Dead Cross shows with that guy?
The Dead Cross shows?
Yeah.
Oh, they were incredible.
Yeah.
I think they were incredible because, I mean, Dave can play pretty much any style that you throw at him.
Yeah, he's kind of amazing that way.
You know, so many people, I think, some people that may not know him in his career,
Yeah.
they think that he can only play just what he's
Speed metal, basically.
Speed metal.
Yeah,
double
wrong.
bass. 95 million miles an hour, but he's honed his craft to the point where he can play pretty much any style.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
go forth, and it shows in Mr. Bungle, Phantomus.
Don't jump too far ahead, because that is a special subject.
His whole career.
Mr. Bungle is, I don't even know how to speak to Mr. Bungle. I've been digging him since Travolta was not, that early shit in the 90s, the late 90s, and love Mike Patton's thing, seen him many times, work with him. Heavy band, it's got that revolving cast of characters that play in them, and nobody in it ain't great. And they're kind of one of a kind. I think you just did the reunion shows with them, huh?
I did.
What was that like?
That was back in pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
I would love to see that. That I did not get. I knew it was happening and just couldn't make it.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Bungle's kind of event. When you go see them, they just bring a special something. I don't know how to exactly qualify it, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of speed metal, thrash, punk.
It's really a bit of everything. There's some soul in there. There's some funk in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you really can't just.
There's even a kind of a circus thing that can happen too.
There's like these starts and stops, and if you don't know their music, you're just like.
You should get to know it.
You're
don't know it. You really should get to know the first. But Mr. Bungle.
You feel like you went through like whiplash.
Yeah,
like
it's a little bit like
visually and orally, and
auditorially.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's an extraordinary thing. It's quite a musical feat, and because it is very disjointed and very unique. I mean, in the best possible way. See, I didn't say interesting. That is almost an implied pejorative. No, these guys rock. They bring it hard. They put on a crazy stage show. Not every night, but the times that I've been lucky enough to do them, it's always the San Francisco shit, which is where they're out of.
Right.
So they bring the heat hard.
Oh yeah.
And they tend to do some crazy shit.
Yep.
And but the professional, like the musicianship, is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And like you said, the twists and turns. It is a very whiplash-like experience.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel like you got your ass kicked.
Yeah.
After you, even us as the guys behind the scenes, even we were like, oh my God, holy, it's incredible.
Yeah. No, it's really a sight to see. And again, if you guys don't know who Mr. Bungle is, I cannot. We don't turn you on to many bands here, but I would say reach out, look into Mr. Bungle. That is an extraordinary band. Particularly their first album for me was the one that really was like, damn, it's extraordinary. We were talking about Dave. We're jumping around a little bit. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
But I think you were out at the Wild Gone Mad tour, and I think we did a couple shows with you. One down in San Jose and one in Sacramento. Dave was behind the kid. It was the Suicidal Tendencies.
Okay.
And I don't remember meeting up with you. We were busy throwing up stacks and racks and doing our show,
Fair enough.
But I remember Dave that night, and my God, you're not wrong. He can really do anything. What was it like being out with Suicidal Tendencies and Nat, Mike Muir, and the whole thing? It was.
Yeah.
There's such a It's a moving target a little bit. I came up with them in like 1981. Fucking the Pepsi song and all of that, Institutionalized and all that. You know? And that's how I know them. From the punk rock days, and
of course,
I always just thought they were magical because they were such an outlier. They're a Hispanic band from the dark side of LA, putting down some crazy good music, and it just was it was a unique. They were a unique entity in punk rock. They were kind of like LA's Bad Brains. Bad Brains. The four black guys doing some totally unheard shit that you're just like, what in the hell, that rules.
Right.
And I always thought of Suicidal that way. Did you enjoy working with these guys?
I loved them. I mean, it was so much fun. That they had. There was a different thing every night of the tours that we did.
Sure.
And we went everywhere, as they do.
They tended to stretch out, yeah.
Yeah, here's a funny one. Okay, so we get to, oh my God, where were we? We were in this, okay, we were overseas. I think we were in Spain, okay?
Fun.
Don't quote me on that, but I think we were there. And they were like, okay, we're gonna do load in the morning, right? Like kind of like a festival show,
Sure.
right? You know, you got to get in early. You know, your set time is, you know, on a normal day, your regular set time could be anywhere between like 5 or 6. You know, a headliner goes on at 9, 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we get in there, we do the load in, and then we're like, okay, yeah, we're good. We sound check. Then we realize that it's like there's like this gap of time over there where, which I'm sure people who are living over there know what I'm about to say. You can't do anything. Like it's like from 5 till whatever, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And then so we end up like loading in, and then we're like looking at the day sheet, the schedule, and we're like, oh wow, yeah, our set time is at like 2 a.m.
Wow.
So we're like,
that is so European, dude.
so we were like, you know, as we all say, like we were all like, oh my God, so 2 o'clock in the morning. So the gear's just gonna sit there all day, and all half the night, and we're just like, so what do we do? Pass the time, you know?
Yeah.
Sit on a road case, relax, you know, do our thing, and we were just like, wow, I didn't even notice. Like that's how like that's like a normal thing over there.
Yeah, totally.
Not always, but a lot of the time.
In Spain and a little bit in Portugal, they will take a 2 to 3 hour siesta right in the smack dab, and you know it's 3 to 6, 3 to 7, 5 to 7, depending on what region you're in.
Right.
And that is a normal thing. Shit just stops.
Yeah,
you know, they don't meet. They go night for a minute, and it's funny because I find my natural schedule and my natural body rhythm wants to do that.
Yeah,
you know, and I think they're on it. This is an ancient society. I mean, you know, they've been there for a couple thousand years, and I think they're onto something. It's pretty interesting because I know I get my stuff charges right back up, and 2 o'clock in the morning is a happy time for me. I'm up doing my thing.
Yeah,
you know, so I fully get that, but it can be a little disorienting when you're out in the band.
Yeah.
And now you got your gear out there, and it's coming out of tune. It's hot and it's cold, and it's like
exactly. So we're like, we're about to, and then we do the show, and then we're like, man, I mean, we're just going to be exhausted by the end of the night. Literally, like you just said. I mean, we're running on adrenaline.
Yeah.
So then we're just okay, you know. But at the other end of that spectrum, when I'm not on the road, I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm in bed by like 10:30.
You know?
Wow. Yeah, I gotta put it out there.
I do a little nap between like 7 to 9.
Right.
Like, you know, get off, go put my head down, wake up to do my little thing at around 10, and then like last night I stayed up till 5 in the morning like an idiot. But I was watching some really entertaining fucking documentary about some crazy shit. And
very cool.
But yeah, I get it. I totally get it. There's the circadian rhythm that's in us, and it's it's a learned, trained thing.
Yeah.
And so that's the same for them. You know, around 3 o'clock they're all just like they're like dying on their feet. They just need to put their heads down. Then you know the food is so rich, and you know tapas and all that stuff is like, oh my God,
100%.
Yeah, super fun.
So it was that was a wild one for me. That was the latest show I think I've ever done.
Right on.
2:30. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and they're like jumping around like, you know.
No, it was packed. It was like a bullfighting ring.
Yeah, oh crazy.
It was great.
Yeah.
And it was just a big circular thing, and the pits were like incredible.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I mean,
I bet.
the fans over there are unreal.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I'm a little.
Yeah.
You are an entertaining, exciting guy. My sleep deprivation has nothing to do with you, okay?
Hey, it's all good.
I don't want to linger too much on the history of all the shows you do, but, you know, you have a really extensive resume. And so I went in, I picked up, like, Mr. Bungle to me, absolutely fascinating band. There's no way that I'm not going to talk to you about Mr. Bungle. They're just Mr. Bungle. Back in 2014, you were out on the Puppet Strings tour with Fuel. Now, Fuel is a unique band. I enjoy Fuel a great deal.
Yeah.
They have a certain melodic quality to them. As a matter of fact, if my chick called right now, it would come up with a Fuel song. Her ringtone is a Fuel song.
Oh, wow.
Because it just touches a certain chord, you know.
Great.
I'm crazy in love with my girl. And
yeah.
so, of course, she has her own tune. And Fuel, I don't know, they have a certain ability. I always thought they were pretty fascinating. Great fucking band, as talented players. And
Yeah, 100%.
Were you out on that as playback or drum tech?
No, just doing drum tech.
Right
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, those guys. I mean, again, an amazing group of guys. They bring it 100% every night.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what can you say? I mean, they had like monster hits. We literally
came out swinging, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, we literally, toured nonstop for like, it felt like forever.
Yeah.
But they're amazing. I mean, Brett Scallion's one of the, I think, still to this day, one of the top singers.
Yeah.
Out there in this.
You've seen that he's been replaced recently.
He has.
I found that to be very interesting, and then I listened to the new stuff, and they pulled that Journey thing. Where you get a guy that almost sounds very similar to what you've had, and that makes perfect sense to me. I get it.
Yeah.
Tool is a formula. Tool has a thing. Fuel has a thing.
Yeah.
And I get it. But yeah, you're not wrong. I was kind of down with what Brett could do, and enjoyed him as a person, and as an artist, and the band as an artist as a whole. When you bring 4 people together doing this kind of a magic thing,
right?
It's very nice,
100%.
and they had a very specific sound and a sentiment that was very approachable and good. So I hope he's doing well, and often that they go forward doing well. I can't imagine a person as talented as him is not going to do some good stuff going forward.
100%. I think he may be doing some solo stuff right now.
Not surprised. I think he was also towards the end of their life together, and I don't know if that created a tension or not. But regardless, they made some choices and changes, and the new stuff they're doing. I guess the new guy also plays guitar, but again, has a very similar sensibility to the original material, and so I could see where he could cover that material plus the new material, and brings a little something extra. So it's I wish them a lot of success going forward. I'm sure it was a lot of fun. Now we've got a guy in common. Now I know this guy from many incarnations, back when Chuck Biscuits was his drummer. I think you already know where I'm going, and. Really interesting artist. I know him from the Misfit days and coming up early in the punk rock. That's where I come from, is the punk rock scene. And he was a pretty driving force in his own right. Yeah. Although in a lot of ways, I'm talking about Glenn Danzig, of course, the mighty might of dark metal. He's just a badass in his own right. A little bit of a tricky guy to work with, but he's got since 81, 82, when he would be doing that Monkeys Little Monster shit and all that stuff back in the day, the early Misfit stuff, it was a very specific kind of horror, I guess, punk.
They call it horror punk.
Yeah. I don't really know exactly. It had its own lane, though, like 45 Grave and some of the other bands, like that Poison Ivy and those guys.
Right.
And I totally got it. What was it like working for him as a solo artist? I kind of lost favor with him when he went to a friend of mine, Chuck Biscuits, who I knew from DOA. From the Canadian punk band.
Right.
And Chuck did those first 2 albums with him. And then he did the employee thing, and Chuck, being a Canadian punk rocker, was like, no, I don't. No, I'm in a band. I'm not an employee. I'm a band member, so I can't make it happen. Maybe you need to get somebody else, and that's what happened.
Well, the thing with Glenn, I think, is that he wanted to have he comes from the punk rock thing.
Yeah.
But I think he wanted to spread his wings.
Oh, no doubt.
When he was just starting with, doing the Danzig stuff. And to be honest, I'm not 100% on his earlier career.
Mm-hmm. Sam Hain,
but Misfits, I do know, but I knew because I did a lot of the earlier Misfits reunion shows.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that.
And it was, oh my God.
Right?
Dude, it's wild.
Well, incarnation-wise, would you prefer Misfits or Danzig? As just a music lover?
I would prefer Danzig.
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Without any question.
Me personally, I just come from more of the realm of like melody.
That's right.
I'm more of that guy.
I understand
just your song structure, verse, chorus.
Yeah.
Verse, chorus, bridge.
The guy can write like a Mo.
But,
got to give him that.
I always just wanted to know if he read Mother to his mother.
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure Mike Mears played Institutionalized for his mom, or if he hasn't, somebody did. And she's like, Mike, what the fuck? I did give you a Pepsi. What are you talking about? That's fucked up, Mike. Correct the report card, because that's just not cool. Yeah. Now, Danzig presents certain challenges, and when he's bringing it, he's bringing it. I watched him get punched in the face by a rock star one night because he was being a smug asshole, and it was funny. He took it like a man. He fucking got socked up, and he had no choice because the guy reluctantly did it, and the guy and he had to say, "You got me, dude. I was being a bitch. I was because he can get a little precious about show times and going out in the rain and certain things. Because he is a 40-year rock and roll dude. I mean, got to give it to Glenn Danzig.
He's done his thing for many years.
He really has. I know when he was breaking away from Misfits early on, that there was a lot of tension about what songs could be played, the songs that he wrote, the songs that he was more or less the coordinator on, there was a lot of turmoil between him and the original Misfits guys.
Yeah, right.
Of what was acceptable to play, because he's really, when it's his shit, it's his shit.
Right.
It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And he's very precious about his ownership of things.
Right.
And then how he'll put it in the world.
And that's why I was saying earlier, I think he wanted to I realized I said to spread his wings. I mean, literally, that's what he wanted to do, because he had this vision of what he wanted to take before Danzig happened.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I want to do this. I have all this pent up anger, all this pent up like energy and like inspiration to write this style of song.
Yeah.
But this style of song that I'm going to write right now is not going to fit with these Misfits guys.
No.
And they're all my best friends, but yet, all right, so let me go out and form this new band, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to, call it my own name. Yeah. Basically,
Takes a lot of juice to do that.
And then he did.
And he brought it,
And he did. I mean, every night, buckets of sweat.
Yeah.
And it was great. I mean, and he did his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when you have such a passion and such a vision, people are going to think, you're hard to work for.
Yeah.
But like when you want things to go like the way you want them to go.
Yeah. His perception of perfect is...
You're going to butt heads.
It's pretty close to
we all
perfect.
do sometimes.
You're not wrong. Wrong.
So,
no. He's an artist, and
that's how,
extraordinarily talented. He's been doing it long enough to have a pretty good idea of what he's going for. And he's not shy about saying, this is what I'm going for. I need you to be able to do this.
Right.
And if you can't, he's gonna probably call you out, Prince style.
Right.
There's some guys that just they ain't playing, and they and it can literally change from night to night. Prince was very much like that. One night he was all bottom, and the next night he didn't want it. He wanted the fucking subs turned off. Okay.
Wow.
You're Prince. Yeah. We're not going to argue with you. You want that's what you need. We're going to give you that.
And then they came out, and then of course those Misfits reunion shows were like, the hair standing up on the, just standing back there is just like.
Fucking Only.
How? Yeah. Jerry Only and
he's a
Glenn Danzig back together again.
Yeah. It's a special thing, really special.
Unbeatable.
Did you notice any weirdness between that, or how'd those shows go? They go pretty good?
They went really well.
Yeah.
They did.
They were playing some big rooms too, weren't they, on that tour?
Wow. Yeah. We did arenas.
Yeah, that's the biggest, I think, Misfits ever did anything.
And like I said earlier, like I don't really come too much personally from the punk rock world.
Yeah.
I came up with like, thrash metal, death metal, and then listened to like, hair metal, right?
Yeah.
And then, but I'm like, wow. So but I was a fan of Danzig.
Yeah.
And
but it is very, very different.
It is.
So you look at the Mother album, the first two albums, first three even, really.
Yeah.
There's almost only, other than the voice, there is no similarity musically. I don't think, or at least a very little.
Between
Danzig's solo stuff.
Okay.
First three albums versus, say, the first two albums of the Misfits. The only thing that harkens is like, that's, where you go, okay, that's Danzig singing, that's Glenn singing, is the vocals itself. Musically, it's a very different animal.
Otherwise, you're not gonna.
You don't really tie them together very easily.
Right.
And I think that goes even double for his second band, which was Sam Hain, which is a really, it was a departure.
It's like dark.
Yeah. Sam Hain was some deep shit. Yeah, he was still in that horror thing,
Yeah.
I think he kind of lives in that world anyway.
He does. Yeah. That's his thing, and
that's his shtick.
What works, just go with it.
Yeah.
Just let it ride and. Yeah.
You were absolutely not wrong. I'm going to ask you a technical question. Tell me the secrets to building a connected stage using program changes in a playback environment.
Oh, now you want to get nerdy.
Jesus, man, where the fuck did that come from?
That came from
I can't just like, and then what it was like hanging out with this band. And blah, 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 blah. You got to throw out a wild card once in a
So,
while.
okay, so this is what you want to do. Let's make it short and not too nerdy.
Okay.
Okay, so we playback engineers sometimes want to automate things on the stage.
Sure.
So a guitarist plays this part of the song,
Something triggers and
then he has to go to like a he has to hit his pedal, right, and he has to go to like a crunchy sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a program change.
Yeah.
On his pedal. So basically, when I say a connected stage, it's basically running Cat5 out of one of the interfaces in Playback World, and using a MIDI clip in the Ableton session, and it'll automate the guitar pedal and change it to a specific part of the song that he needs. The guitar player needs it to be changed at. And that could go for pretty much everything on stage.
Yeah.
So if you have a MIDI, a MIDI box on stage right, a MIDI box on stage left, you could pretty much use between a Cat5 cable in a long distance, and then the shorter distance run like a 5-pin DIN MIDI cable, and then run that into the guitar pedal, or run that into like an SPDSX for different song changes or kit changes within that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much a connected stage.
Gotcha. Does it ever, when you go that automated, does it ever present problems? I mean, I got to imagine it can.
It definitely can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I
Come
think,
out of sync, do shit at the wrong time, not do it when it, either way, too early, too late, not at all.
of course it could happen.
Sure.
But I think if you just work out the kinks
Yeah.
in the rehearsal environment,
Sure.
everything should be fine.
In those
Yeah.
redundant, they have those new interfaces that you can hook up two computers to, so if one fails,
Yeah.
it just auto switches over.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a big fan of the Play Audio 12.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that about me.
Keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can play with that thing all day,
Right.
like 24 hours a day. I mean, I love it. It's basically that. It's an audio interface from iConnectivity.
Gotcha.
And I'll rep those guys day in and day out.
Oh,
Love
speak to it,
Love them.
When there's something good out there, we have no problem
They have the
speaking to it.
Mio XM, which is the MIDI interface box.
Yeah.
The Play Audio 12, which is their audio interface. And it's incredible. It has MIDI and audio redundancy.
Yeah.
You name it. It's all in one box.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
How stuff just keeps getting smaller and more technical and more abilities.
Exactly.
It's so funny playing with that on tour for the first time, and me and my buddy are playing with it, and all of a sudden we touch the screen, and we both look at each other. It's a touch screen.
It's touchscreen.
Yeah.
I remember when you realized that on a computer we have here in this recently. You're like,
That shit all the time.
this has been touchscreen the whole time. I'm like, yeah, dude, what? What do you mean? It's like you were so blown away. I think you've been working on this fucking thing for old school mouse in it, trying to make it go down. I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah.
It was like floored. Yeah,
That's the way of the world though now, man. Everything's
obviously.
going digital, and
yeah.
it's
We're
that.
there. It is a ride.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty much full force, and a lot of the stuff that we still use outboard gear when requested by writer or something like that. There's probably some digital version, plug-in, whatever it is, that has some little piece of gear that can do what the old analog cool ass audio shit, the old outboard gear could do. That there's 4 simulations that are available to you that more or less do the same thing with really similar outcomes.
Right.
And it's just, and I imagine going forward, that's just going to get
Of course.
more and more, and the things will get smaller and smaller with more capabilities. It's just the way of the world. I mean, it's kind of fascinating to watch.
Everything is. I love that everything is pretty much gone digital. I mean, a lot of people are like the old school way of doing things, but I don't know. I love it. I mean,
well, he would be one of those people that's down like the digitals, I imagine, and I'm kind of like,
Oh, that's funny you think that.
no.
It's something.
I might have spoke out of turn. Correct me.
Yeah, I've always been a analog mindset.
Fucking
I've kind of, I've learned digital because it's what I have to learn.
Yeah.
But if I had a choice,
Reluctantly, huh?
I was lucky enough to hit the time in the studio when I was involved with it was all analog.
Yeah.
So came from that place of like, you want your
Old
your
school
tape
dudes
at
are gonna-
plus 6 at 250 nanowebers or whatever. It can set your shit up that way, but it's a whole lot of weight for a touring
Takes
rig.
up a lot of real estate. He's not wrong. It's sensitive. It takes up a lot of weight. And it's, you know, you can put asses in those seats if you pare down and get to the digital stuff. But, you know, at the same time, some of us just think there's a bigger, rounder, smoother sound in the digital process. And, and old school guys are always going to be all, you know, cranky. whiny.
Right.
Well, I think we all, for the most part, to the man at this point, even with the old school heads, you know, people like Greg Pricer, those guys, they've fully embraced the digital world and coming fully from the analog world.
Right. Yeah.
And it just makes sense. That's the way that's how it is. Right?
That was the progression
Yes, sir.
of thing from
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And so they finally, I think with guys like yourself and folks that, you know, they've made the jump to light speed and there's so many advantages. I can fully understand it. I think it's just a little curmudgeon-y. Those old analog dudes that are like, back in my day, there were tubes and knobs. And
that's fine.
We actually plugged stuff in, not a plug in.
Because I still do love, I'll always love that world.
Yeah, it's fun.
Of just, you know.
Talk about tinkering.
Forget about the world of playback. You know, just 5 guys on stage playing their instruments. With 0 playback. You know?
It's kind of a sweet spot too.
Yeah, that's the.
But I totally get the need for, like you said, you know, there's certain parts that, you know, there's mini bands that use extra production in a studio environment. And it's not reasonable to try to take that out, even if it's just 1 or 2 songs that are going to need that extra little bit of juice, that little flavor they put on it, probably a producer kind of ad. And they need you out there to bring it and to fill in that void in the song, in the space. And so I can imagine it being challenging but rewarding as well.
It totally is.
Yeah. And in a weird way, in my mind, you're kind of like almost like a member of the band, you know, getting that right.
You're the 5th Beatle.
And them relying on you to
you have that show literally in the space of a Pelican case, you know, you're like, wow.
Yeah, crazy.
If this thing, you know,
Back in the day, can you imagine how much gear we would have to use to simulate what
oh my God.
saying?
Yeah.
You know?
Like I was about to say that. I'm like, there's, I mean, back, you know, these old audio interfaces that are like huge, and it's like now it's down to like a box like this big. You know, I mean,
it's smaller than a Mellotron. That's what somebody said to me the other day, and I was like, "Fuck, you're right." That's
right, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, I always love those kind of perspective tweakers. You know, tweaker like, oh shit, you're right. It is smaller than a fucking Mellotron. Damn, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
You know, that used to be everything behind me was.
Just before I got in here this afternoon, I was working with another plug-in that we use in Ableton called Setlist. It's put out by Strange Electronics. And again, it's just another digital version of a band's setlist. But it's on the computer, and then you could, you know, each band member can have it, you know, on their iPad if they want.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen a lot of guys go that route yet, but Playback Tech's just, you know, it's right on the screen of your computer.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
pretty sweet.
You know.
Yeah. I want to go old man again and say, but there's something really cool about handwritten set lists. You know, I mean, they're just, I don't know, I don't know. I'm old school, man.
I agree too.
Get a flyer, flip it over, slam it onto a monitor. Let's do this show.
And then put it on the wall.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. You know? Back in the day when I collected things, you know, in the
you don't miss that call. Set list is at production. Come grab your set list.
Come grab your set list. Right. Yeah. No, there's, you know, it's a bygone era, and there's always going to be a guy thinking of a new way to take advantage of an old system and manipulate it into a digital, newer system that's just fun and interesting. And so I could see that being fun.
100%.
It's the future. I got to ask you about Prong. Now, anybody who knows Prong, that's a special band.
Legends.
Fucking crazy.
Yes.
Dude, you were out with Prong on the No Absolutes tour. What was that like?
So cool.
Dude, that was a blast.
Yeah, they bring it, man. Prong don't play.
We just destroyed across America 1,000 times.
I bet you did. I fucking bet you did.
And they're going out in 2 weeks.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
I heard about it, but they're going out with Overkill.
Oh, that'd be a good show.
And it's like, that's right up my alley. I mean,
Yeah.
Like I
No,
said,
that could be fun. I can see that as a great lineup.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I know you recently, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about recently. I guess it's been a couple years now, but you were out with Ministry.
Yeah.
Is this the industrial ministry? I mean, it's ministry, but they have different parts of their history in their career where they were very different from other parts of their career. There was a kind of an industrial part. There was kind of a more rock prog thing they did originally and early on.
Okay.
What were you out doing with these guys?
No, they were doing their, I did their Americant tour, which is 2018. Oh my God, wow. Yeah, like freaking my brain is, I did 2 or 3 tours in the span of 2 years, give or take.
Yeah.
But it was the industrial ministry.
They really, when that
like-
first took off, I think Ministry kind of owned that lane almost outright.
Yeah.
They were kind of the leaders in that movement, and they could do it in a very effective way.
Yeah.
Ministry is a big, they bring a big sound when they do live.
Yeah.
Was it exciting working with these guys?
They're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're loud.
Yeah. That's right.
But that's their thing.
That is their thing.
They're loud.
Yes.
And louder.
Yeah.
Their front of house engineer is one of my best friends. And
Right on.
It's John Brennan.
Oh, is
Wedge.
it? Yeah. Oh, Wedge is doing him. They do.
Yeah.
No shit.
He's a great dude.
Interesting.
And louder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just loud.
He's been known to put his foot on the gas, that's for sure.
But that's ministry, man.
Yeah.
It's always been them.
No, it's kind of, you're not wrong. There's certain bands that's how you bring it. Slayer comes that way, Venom. There's some bands that,
And
that's even Tool until somewhat recently. You go to a Tool show, buckle up. It's on. They're gonna get you.
Exactly.
And it's just part of the show. Queens of the Stone Age roll like that too.
Yeah.
But Nobby just fucking lays people down. It's just in Hutch.
Yeah.
Those guys are extraordinary.
Killer.
I wanted to ask you about Lamb of God. Now, I enjoy Lamb of God a great deal. Their singer is a very intuitive, kind of down-to-earth guy. He's recently out ranting and raving about I can't go much into this, but the anti-science thing, and he's like right in the front of that, like, really? Come on. But as a live show, one of the best bands live. I mean, they really bring a kick-ass show.
Incredible production. Yeah.
A lot of fun. Lamb of God don't fuck around.
Yeah. I was working with Art Cruz, who came from Prong, and that's kind of pretty much how I ended up parlaying into that gig.
No shit.
So Art is from Southern California, down there, and him and I worked together with Prong.
Very cool.
And then he called me one day and said, "Let's do some Lamb of God stuff," and I said, "Okay, cool, incredible." And we built this awesome new rack that he uses from Gibraltar. A great, amazing company.
Yeah.
And then we went out and killed it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I bet that was been
And he's a
kick in the ass.
perfect fit, and that band is like firing on all cylinders.
They really do.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? I mean, they did their thing, man.
Yeah,
I mean, they own it, man. I mean, Redneck. Those songs are incredible.
Yeah, totally, dude. Yeah, no, the I'm a Goner, they're kind of singular, and they super bring it, and they do a lot of festivals, and opened up for Metallica, Slayer type of thing.
Yeah,
I always feel kind of bad for the headliner because they got to go out after Lamb of God.
Yeah.
You're always like, good luck.
Yeah.
Lamb of God just laid the whole place down. It's on now, buddy.
Laid to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Last band check on this, and I'm going to get into some questions that are different than bands. But I know you're out working with a Psychedelic Furs right now. This is a Psychedelic Furs, man. One of the most iconic voices.
Yeah, when I got that call, I was like, these guys are legends, man.
They kind of are, dude. I mean, his voice is so singular, so individual.
Butler.
Yeah. It's just since the '80s. I mean, they've had their peaks and valleys, but they just keep going, man. They're like freaking like the bunny, like that Energizer bunny. It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
What's it like in their new incarnation? They still bringing it? They still got that power?
Yeah. Well, they got a new guy in the band, as far as I know. So it's still the brothers, Richard, Butler,
but some parts of that band can't be changed out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And they got, it's incredible. Rich Good on guitar. from Palm Springs area, and they just hired Zach Alford on drums.
Really?
And we all know his career. I would imagine
You have to enlighten. Not everybody is as hip as we are, brother.
Zach Alford. He's from. He's done the B-52s.
Yeah.
A incredible career. He's done Gwen Stefani.
Yeah. Total hired guy, badass.
And should we mention David Bowie?
Well, you want to talk about a guy that can play pretty much anything and do it perfect every time.
He's a chameleon, just
That's
like
the guy.
Lombardo.
That's the guy.
He's that
I'd
guy.
say even more so in his case.
I mean,
he really has
incredible.
stretched his wings pretty
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
And I just did a tour with them like back in October, November, just last year.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I mean, just to see them play.
Yeah.
They're all legends.
You let me know when you come to town. I think my girl would. I got the greatest girl in the world. She couldn't give a shit about what I do. Doesn't ever, jump my world about. Where are we going? Never.
Yeah.
She couldn't care less. It's so cool.
Of course.
But she has favorites. I think the last time I took her to something was I think it was the call. No, it was the Fix. It's just we're from the '80s, and some of that shit just hits home really deep. And I think she really loves the psychedelic first. So I'd love to come and visit you on that one.
Yeah.
I don't really tap shoulders too much, but if you come to town, you better let me know, sir.
Dude.
Because I'm never happier than when I can get my girl to a thing she did. And
definitely.
It's so infrequent. Once a year or something. It's like I'll spare any cost or do whatever I got to do. So I would love to come out and see you guys. I think she would enjoy that a great deal.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
Let me ask you, bud. You've been doing this for a minute. Lord knows you've seen and done. I was going to talk to you about Saxon or Armored Saint, but I put them in the back to get me out of jail in case I didn't need any more questions. I mean, you've done a lot of stuff. You've done a lot of incredible gigs. Do you have any advice for the young people? You saw some young people when you came in. Some of the younger kids coming up in this really want to, emulate some of our career trajectory. And me and you both know this is not a straight line to do that. It takes some interesting time in the gig, some networking, some luck. You got any advice for the youngsters coming up in our business, how to be successful?
Wow. Well, let's put it this way. Be yourself, number one.
Yeah.
Man, I can go through a list of things. Be yourself. Be on time.
Yeah. Okay. Incredibly important.
Yeah. I mean, because when so many newer guys have asked me, hey man, it must be incredible to be on the road. But, man, that's got to be a crazy party.
Those are new guys.
Yeah.
They're like 20 years late.
We're not out there to party.
It doesn't really work like that.
We're out there to do our job.
Yeah.
Yes, we love what we do.
Yeah.
But, right. Okay. So, number 2, be on time. Number 3, which a lot of my drummers that I work for told me this. Be a cool hang. And that's like a large percentage of.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Be a cool hang.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. Cool hang.
Because if you can't hang, and just do like what we're doing here,
that's right,
and just chill, and I mean, there's so many guys out there who are amazing at what they do.
Yeah, but they're fucking high strung and
they're like, or they're just
knowing when to dial that in.
Or they're just they don't want to. They can't talk.
Yeah. Really.
It's like if you're working for an artist, I mean, you have to talk.
Yeah.
You have to communicate.
Communication is critical.
And you're on a bus for like, hours and hours at a time.
That's right.
And like you want to get to know each other, So that's huge.
Yeah.
I would say, like, I don't want to sound like an old guy, but try to avoid like getting wasted on tour.
That's extraordinarily good advice.
Now I say that in the respect of like, of course you can have a couple of beers. Here's my personal philosophy. I don't like to drink or smoke prior to the gig.
Yeah.
Okay. Once that trailer door is locked, once that everything is locked, once the gear's put away.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
Your time becomes your own. Even then, though, I think moderation is really key because of, like you said, you're about to go into a steel tube and drive down the road for many hours.
100%.
And some shit jumping off you're not at your best when, when you're not
now,
completely together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, and that kind of leads me into like, you really got to have a good headspace. Like, you know, if you got a lot of things going on personally, that could be exacerbated.
Oh, fucking
like when you're on the road.
It's like a bad trip.
As we know,
you can really get honed in.
If you're arguing with your friends at home, and you're on the road and you're trying to do your thing,
not good.
That's gonna. I think that could be like for any job.
I agree.
You know, not just roadies, but you know, try to have like your shit together. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. No, it's good advice. I think for roadies it is touring roadies. It is a little bit more incumbent to be successful because you're in these unique high deadline, high stress situations, close quarters. People are going to do certain things that are going to irk you, stinky feet. You know, you're using the bus wrong, using the lavatory wrong.
Oh, yeah.
You know, obnoxious behavior in the lounge. It goes on and on and on. People that aren't careful with their consumption of things in the periodic table can become an issue.
Exactly.
And, being that sore thumb sticking up is sometimes a quick way to get your head lopped off. So there is some survival techniques that are critically important too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're with 14 other guys on a bus, in close quarters, you're gonna learn about each other quick.
Yeah, too quick. Yeah, and
like, right, like you just said, if this guy's got stinky feet, if this guy's,
the list is so fucking long. From snoring to being dirty to not keeping care of their bunk. On laundry issues. I mean, the list is so long. You never know where the trigger point's going to be. Right. So keep your fucking head down and do your job.
Yeah, it's just got to be. Yeah. It goes back to kind of being a cool hang. Yeah. Being like, hey man, like, and there's ways to approach it without saying
anything.
Without saying, hey dude,
you're a filthy pig, and I'm going to kill you if you don't wash your feet.
Right. It's like, dude, I love you, but your feet are stinking today, man.
Yeah, pretty rough.
Get some soap and just...
Yeah, and sometimes it's not just the feet. It can be from many places.
Exactly.
Yeah, smell like sex, bro. Shower. What the hell? Yeah, it's a real thing. Let me ask you, my brother, what's next for you?
What's next? My God, I'm gonna do some more stuff coming up pretty soon with the psychedelic furs.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah,
you got a second half coming up on a tour or something.
Yeah, well, we're doing some makeup dates. Yeah,
sure, makes perfect sense. A lot of people doing that right now.
In March, in the first week of April, and then beyond that, I'm just a little unsure. Yeah,
good. Person with your skills and your experience still come looking for you. I'm sure of that. But the whole idea of this show is kind of, we got folks from vendors and manufacturers and promoters and a bunch of different heads looking at us, mostly industry folks that are roadies.
Killer, yeah.
And this is the Mike Perkinpine show to point out what a fucking badass you are. And so I hope people are hearing the call and reach out to you because, you're a hell of an asset on a tour. Some of these bands that you work for, I know many of the people on these things, and they wouldn't have you if you weren't the guy.
Yeah,
so we really appreciate you coming here and sharing your experiences with us and with our audience. It's super great, man.
Cool.
We really appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, it's a blast.
I told you it kind of goes fast. Huh?
I love this place. It does. But I feel right at home with the road case, the snare.
Oh, man, we didn't get you your Snapple iced tea. I'm sorry.
Oh,
it's in the fridge over there.
It's all good.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right, you forgive me for that, but I forgot. We gave it to you for dinner. I mean, you got one.
I already
had
like one, so that's enough.
Well, when we came out on this thing, we were like 3 minutes out. We just kind of plopped down and
just like, all right, let's
start going.
I thought I had one over here.
Let's roll.
You do. It's behind the Bernie speaker. That's one of those speakers. I was telling you about the Bernie guy.
Gotcha.
This is probably the best Bluetooth speaker on the planet. You wouldn't believe what that little thing can do. It's kind of crazy.
Killer.
Maybe we'll plug it in and show them. It's extraordinary. Yeah. Anyways, seriously, Mike, thank you so much for coming up, buddy.
Thank you.
You took a plane. You did all the good stuff. Me and you we'll talk after the show about those things and
Cool.
get happy. But really, it was absolutely a treat and a joy to have you here. Thank you,
Yeah,
brother.
my pleasure, man.
Much continued success.
Always a
and-
fan of this, and always a fan of just talking about rock and roll and
Yeah. We love what we do,
and,
right?
and I could talk for another 3 hours. But
You know, I wish they'd stay around for it because I could too, but the analytics are like everybody's like tuning out.
all good.
People trying to keep people's attention for that amount of time is really freaking hard.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
just so many things they can choose from. And with that said, thank you for being here. I'm going to top off on that thought right there. You can hear some more. Thank you so much, brother.
Killer. Thank
Right
you.
on, pal. Like I was just saying with Mike, I know there's 1,000 places you guys could be, and you come out and hang out with us and listen to us babble and pontificate, and we appreciate it. You know, we're very sincere about what we do, and we really love the old stories and the cool scenes and stuff like what Mike's experienced and to share between each other. We've got a lot of, it's a somewhat nepotistic fucking kind of, I don't know if that's even a word, I'm making up my own words, but there is a little bit of a closeness to our industry, and there's not a lot of us, and so it's fun to get some guys out like Michael who's been around and seen and done and share stuff with us. I really appreciate it. We do this every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Next week, we've got the incredible John Lozier. Now, John Lozier, in case you didn't know, he's recently out with this young man. We're doing the John Legend out in front of the house, making John sound amazing, and I'm not sure he needs much help there, but if you needed somebody to do that, it would be John Lozier. The guy's a badass. I've been told he was Prince's longest A1. Now, if you know anything about rock and roll, that's an extraordinary accomplishment. That is a thing. He's going to come on next week, talk to us about it, share his experiences with us. We're going to share them with you. We're going to hopefully have a good time with it. That's what we do. Until then, please behave, be well, be good, be all that shit, and we will see you next week. Until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Good night. Thank you, Kyle.